What's up, YouTube? This is Kelby coming to you from the Russell Brothers Garage. Finally got time to work on old Sketchy. Duty calls, had to go to work. Work's slowing down, so now we got some time. We can work on old Sketchy. I blew a head gasket, giving it the old what for. Truck had been sitting for 25 years, and it ran good. I had it running good, and I just got out and we ran it past 5,500 RPM, so it didn't handle that real well. It's a little dark here, so I've got the light on. Got two floor pans to replace. Started in the passenger side. Got to this point, and literally we started having to go to work every day. And when I got home, the last thing I wanted to do was come out in the 120-degree garage and mess with this crap. But we got some fans going now. These things were in there, but as you can see, they had some pretty bad holes in them. And I figured, as cheap as floor pans are, I've got a welder, I know metal work, I've done it my whole life. We'll get in here and get this trimmed out. Driver's side as well. I'm not going to show you what I've got planned for the interior, but you keep watching, you'll see it happen. I do have a new steering wheel. It's awesome. It's not your typical run-of-the-mill Grant steering wheel that everybody has in their truck. And we're going to do, well, I'll just say we're going to do a 2020 worthy interior. Alright, got a pretty good chunk of the passenger side floorboard out. As you can see, I've kind of had to wad it up somewhat using a cutoff wheel. That dangerous baby right there. Don't use one of these unless you know what you're doing. I've had a lot of time with one of these, many hours, and if you don't do it right, you will gash yourself wide open and go to the hospital, and then they will put a bunch of stitches in you. But anyway, back here looking at the frame, seems to be pretty good. Probably going to go ahead and just do some cleaning up under here while I'm at it. Might as well. There's no sense not to. The brake lines aren't in the best shape, but the truck does stop good. It's got disc brakes on the front, drums in the rear. So until that becomes a problem, I don't see any problem, any reason to mess with it. But just kind of gonna get the rest of this skin out here, out of the corners, peel it back. I've already trimmed the floor pan to fit. That's something that you do have to do. You see, I put a lip. There's enough room. This is where the new floor pan will go. That leaves me a good lip. I'm going to drill some holes and do just plug welds all the way around, and it should be good. A lot more solid than what was here. I do have some patchwork to do here, but it's not bad. No biggie. But yeah, Sketchy's gonna come right along. It looks like I'm gonna have some time to work on it, so just stay tuned. Alright, after some more cutting and beating and banging, finally got that passenger side floor pan out. See, I got a little cleaning up to do here, but gonna leave this in place. Of course, it seems to be in decent shape. Just gonna clean it up, clean this excess off. Get a flat wheel, grind it, smooth it out, paint it, and then we'll put the other floor pan in. I just don't want to skip a step like this. It's pretty much the way I look at it. It's preventative maintenance. While you're in there, you might as well clean it up and get it right, or at least somewhat right, so that you know that it's not gonna rust any more than it already has. It's a thick gauge metal. It's stout, so really it's just surface rust on there. But yeah, that was quite the match. It was welded in several spots, which is a good reason to have a cutoff wheel, because you can slip that in there like that up under the metal and cut it off. But don't do that the wrong way, or like I said, you'll be going to the hospital. But that's what I've got so far. Alright, got the rest of the floor pan out, smoothed out a little bit. Just doing a little mock-up. That's the new floor pan. Not bad. Gonna have to tweak and adjust as I go around welding. but for the most part, we're gonna have nice solid floor pan on both sides. We got some sound deadener and brand new carpet to go in as well. We went ahead and went with the maroon carpet, same color as original. But the seat, however, we're going to keep the original bench seat, but it's not going to be the crushed red velvet. All right, back here at Russell Brothers Garage, day 2. Just want to give you an example of what I'm fighting here. If you ever get a hole in your floor pan, the absolute worst thing you could do is put fiberglass over it and Bondo. Why they did this, I do not know. I would rather them have patched in tin than done this. So what we've got to do is literally, we've got to get all this crap out and get the surface clean before we can even think about welding it. As you can see, there's a gaping hole right there. The moisture just comes up, gets in between the fiberglass and the metal, and rots it even more. Don't do that. Save somebody else time down the road. It took me forever, but I finally got this other side in. Looks good, it's good and solid. Now I gotta fight this one. And as you can see the fiberglass. I'm gonna try to do minimal. I'm gonna try not to have to patch in the whole floor pan, because up there it looks pretty solid under the pedals, which would be a nightmare in the first place. But we're gonna try to just cut right here, straight across, and come down. Hopefully it's not all in bad shape. I think it's just gonna be closer here to the door, where all the moisture has fallen from there over to here, and up underneath the splashing has got it pretty rotten. So maybe we'll get lucky, but it does go from here all the way back, and you can see here, there's the seam where the fiberglass was. Hopefully it's not rusted underneath too bad, so that we don't have to remove it. We can just lay the skin on top of it and do some overlap welding and take care of this problem. After this is done, then we can move along. I've got seam sealer to put on it just to make sure it doesn't leak ever again, and then we can go from there, put in the sound deadener and the carpet. But yeah, this is what I'm fighting, people. Don't do that. It's not a boat. Well, holy moly. Alright, we got this much fiberglass removed. So I was talking about that I wish they would have welded something in somewhere. They actually did. You can see here they actually welded in a little bit of something, kind of thicker steel, but it really didn't do anything because the moisture came through here, sat on top here, right there. Luckily that stayed pretty solid, but we'll have to take it out anyway. We've got a replacement floor pan, but they at least almost tried. The rest of it's not in that bad of shape. There's a few spots. I think we're mainly going to be focusing up here. Hopefully I can just do the front, maybe just the front half, and maybe the rest of this it's looking like it's going to be okay. I'd rather do a small patch than have to do an entire floor pan. The passenger side I wasn't so lucky on. It was all rotted. That's why I went ahead and did the entire thing, trimmed to fit. This, I think I'll be alright. I think I can get it in there and not have to spend so much time on this. Just going to take my time in here and get it right. There's no sense in doing it half-assed. If you're going to do something like this, just make sure you do it the right way, or at least the best of your knowledge. But never include fiberglass. It's not a good idea. You're causing more problems than you're fixing. Alright, guys and gals, we got lucky on this side, I think. It wasn't near as bad as the passenger side, thank the good Lord above. Took that metal patch out. Of course, it had caused more problems because of the fiberglass that had been put on top of that. But we got it out, and I just literally cut all the bad out. After doing the whole side, trying to save myself a little time and aggravation, there was a hole here. Went ahead and just cut that out. Just going to do some patchwork basically. I'm not going to be using the whole floor pan, but I will save that metal to come back and patch other places if I need to. It won't be seen, so it can be ugly, but if you do it right, it will turn out good. Just tack it in, seam seal it, primer it, probably paint it. You're going to do an undercoat from underneath to keep the metal nice and clean, rust free. But this is a lot better than I expected. I really thought we were going to have another 2-day project here, but this should be done by day's end. Just going to take my time and do it right. I'll probably come up here and clean up these edges and make it a little more streamlined, simply because it's just less detail I have to do when cutting out the floor pan. Just going to use a piece of cardboard and make my pattern, transfer that pattern to the floor pan, and then cut it out with my cutoff wheel. Come back and weld it in. But the next shots should be the new floor pan in place. Hang tight. Alright, as you can see, we've got the patch in. I've welded it up. No pinholes. All good. Like I said, I didn't do a whole patch because it really wasn't necessary. There is some rust here, but it's really not, the metal's not thin enough to have to go through all of replacing it. Like I said, it's not a show truck. I just want it to be a solid, fun truck. Got everything done, welded in. I did use this to basically kill the rust that's here. I'm going to go back, primer it, and clean it up, and then it'll be ready for the sound deadener, and it's basically a heat shield. Alright, guys and gals, looks like we got it done. Passenger side floorboards in, primered. Had a few spots to weld in some pieces. Driver's side, get it done. Now we're just going to run some seam sealer. Got to run some in the back of the cab here, and around the little pinch welds. But other than that, we're back where we need to be. Just want to say thank you for watching Russell Brothers Garage. It's been a long couple of days, but we got the floor pans in, they're done. Everything's sealed up and ready to go. We're going to put some sound deadener in, and then we can start working on the rest of the interior. If you like what you saw, just be sure to like and subscribe, and check us out on Facebook. Thanks.